Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are very happy to have today the Prime Minister of Kosovo, Mr. Hashim Thaci. He's on my right. Next to him is the Ambassador of Kosovo in Tokyo, Mr. Ahmet Shala. For Mr. Thaci, it's the second visit to Japan. It's not the first time he comes here. I think he told me already in Tokyo two years ago.
Yes.
It was an official visit to Japan. Now, today I think he met Mr. Shinzo Abe. I think he's very lucky to have met Mr. Shinzo Abe. Mr. Abe is not only looking toward the United States these days. He wants to show, to put Japan back on the political international map. Mr. Abe is negotiating a free trade agreement with the EU, so the Japanese government must have a stronger interest also for Kosovo, Europe in general. And Japan was one of the first countries to recognize Kosovo as a state. I think the Prime Minister, Mr. Thaci, has met also Mrs. Ogata, I suppose. The husband of Mrs. Ogata was Vice Governor of the Bank of Japan for many, many years. He's a member of our press club, so we have very close links with Mrs. Ogata and Mr. Ogata. Let me introduce briefly Mr. Thaci. You have already a very good notice. We distributed a notice. I think the notice we distributed about this press conference maybe is better than what I'm going to tell you now. Mr. Thaci is the Prime Minister of the Republic of Kosovo. He's the leader of the Democratic Party of Kosovo. He's the former political leader of the Kosovo Liberation Army, a paramilitary organization which was active during the Kosovo War. Kosovo is considered a success story in Europe. It's considered a success story even more by the United States. During the disintegration of Yugoslavia, Mrs. Madeleine Albright, the Secretary of State at that time, I think was very close to Mr. Thaci and the people in Kosovo. Mr. Thaci, today we have the interpreter coming. Thank you very much. Mr. Thaci today is developing a modern state with the respect of law. He's implementing economic reforms, his own Abenomics. In Kosovo, he's trying to privatize industries, companies in a country where the state is still the main economic engine of activity. Mr. Thaci is here in Tokyo to develop closer economic and political relations with Japan, and maybe, I don't know, it's easier for Mr. Thaci to deal with Mr. Abe than with the EU. So please reserve a very warm welcome to Mr. Thaci.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's okay. Sorry. Faleminderit shumë i nderuari moderator Baumgartner. It's okay. It's okay?
Yeah. It's okay.
Faleminderit shumë i nderuari zoti moderator Baumgartner.
Thank you very much, dear moderator, Mr. Gardner.
Ndihem tepër mirë dhe shumë krenar që sot gjendem në Tokyo në vizitën e time të dytë brenda 2 vitesh.
I feel very proud that I'm here today in my second visit in the last 2 years in Tokyo.
Tha zoti Baumgartner, unë jam kryeministri i Kosovës, i shtetit më të ri në Evropë.
As Mr. Bogardner rightly noted, so I am the Prime Minister of Republic of Kosovo, the youngest country in Europe.
Një vendi me mundësi shumë të mëdha.
A country with great opportunities.
Kosova deri me tani është njohur prej 106 shteteve të ndryshme të botës.
Kosovo has so far been recognized by 106 countries.
Kosova është vend I ri me perspektivë evropiane, është vend shumë etnik.
Kosovo is a multi-ethnic country with European perspective.
Tani jemi pjesë e Bankës Botërore, Fondit Monetar Ndërkombëtar dhe shumë organizatave rajonale dhe ndërkombëtare.
Now we have also become members of World Bank, IMF, and European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, and many other international institutions.
Pavarësisht nga kriza globale ekonomike dhe financiare, ne kemi ruajtur trendin e zhvillimit ekonomik rreth 4%.
Regardless of the financial crisis that was present in the world, we have also we managed to save our financial stability by having a 4% growth.
E kaluara vendit tim dhe popullit tim është jashtëzakonisht e rëndë.
The past history of my country and my people is a very difficult one.
Deri në ushtrimin e gjenocidit nga Serbia në Kosovë në vitin 1999.
Which reached also the genocide by the Serbian forces or by Serbia, our neighbor.
Sot Kosova është vendi I paqes, stabilitetit.
Today Kosovo is a country of peace and stability.
Ne bashkëpunim në eficienci të mirë me gjitha shtetet.
We enjoy great neighborly relations with all our neighbors.
Vitin e kaluar në Bruksele kemi arritur Kosova dhe Serbia si dy kryeministra marrëveshjen historike të paqes.
Last year in Brussels we have reached the peace agreement, historic peace agreement between our two countries, Kosovo and Serbia.
Një marrëveshje kjo që ka sjellur një frym paqes dhe evropiane krejt rajonin.
An agreement which brought peace and stability, but also the spirit, European spirit for the whole region.
Vlerësoj se marrëveshje mund të jetë model për shumë vende dhe për shumë lider.
And I am confident that this agreement reached will be a model for many countries, for the region, but also for the international community.
Qëllimi pse jam sot në Japoni është që te kultivojmë marrëdhëniet tona specifike me Japoninë dhe popullin japonez, qeverinë dhe popullin japonez.
My purpose of the visit to Tokyo is to cultivate further the specific relations, bilateral relations we enjoy between Kosovo and Japan.
Në gjitha sferat politike, diplomatike, ekonomike, kulturore, shkencore.
We want to strengthen this bilateral relationship in all sectors, in politics, in diplomacy, exchanging educational exchange, economy, and many other sectors.
Ne po punojmë për të ardhmen evropiane të Kosovës.
We are working for European future of Kosovo.
Që të jemi pjesë e NATO-s dhe Bashkimit Evropian.
So we become members of EU and NATO.
Dhe sa gjithashtu shpresojmë dhe urova dhe kryeministrin Abeson për organizimin e Lojrave Olimpike Tokyo 2020.
And also we hope, and I have also thanked and kindly mentioned in the meeting with the Prime Minister Abe today regarding the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games.
Shpresoj dhe besoj që edhe Kosova deri atëherë do të jetë pjesë organizatës së Kohës Bashkuara dhe të marrë pjesë me flamurin tonë.
And my hope is that by 2020 Kosovo will become a member of UN, which consequently leads to the membership of the International Olympic League, which would enable us to participate in the Olympic Games of Tokyo 2020.
Ndërsa në anën tjetër diskutuam edhe me kryeministrin Ebeson për mundësinë e ardhes e investitorëve tjerë japonezë në shtetin e Kosovës për të investuar.
In the meeting with Prime Minister Abe, I also mentioned and kindly asked for a higher presence of the Japanese investors. So I have invited Japanese investors in Kosovo.
Deri më tani kemi rreth 200 investitorë në Kosovë që janë regjistruar.
Until now we have around 200 Japanese firms that have businesses that have registered in Kosovo.
Por mund të bëjmë edhe më tepër.
But we can do much more.
Veçanti në sektorin e minierave, agrikulturës.
especially in the sector, in the mining sector, in the agricultural sector,
të energjisë
energy sector,
dhe shumë sfera tjera.
and in many other sectors.
Në veçanti në turizëm malor.
Especially it's worth noting in the mountain tourism.
Japonia ka qenë prej vendeve të para që ka njohur shtetin e Kosovës.
Japan has been one of the first countries to recognize Kosovo's independence.
Edhe njëherë e falenderoj popullin japonez, qeverinë japoneze.
And I want to use this opportunity to thank once again Japanese government and Japanese people for this.
Unë jam duke punuar që këtu raportet tona specifike të kultivohen gjithnjë më tepër.
I am working that our specific bilateral relations be further cultivated.
Thank you.
So thank you once again.
Unë shpresoj që mund të kemi një bisedë më të hapur, më interaktive.
And now I hope that we can exchange views and have an interactive conversation here
Thank you,
today.
Mr. Zoller.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thaci. Who wants to start the conversation? Who wants to ask the first question? Please.
My name is Hiroyuki Fujita, and I'm with the Kokumin Shimbun, founded in 1890 by Tokutomi Soho, historical journalist. I'm very happy to learn that Japan was one of the first countries which recognized Kosovo, and I hope that your country will be recognized internationally as a member state of the UN, and I hope your country will grow further. But could you be more specific? Could you be more specific about? Only questions fine. Could you be more specific about what kind of features can you provide to Japanese investors and also Japanese tourists?
And Japanese?
Tourists. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. Unë e potencova dhe merret se mas pari ne po punojmë që të krijojmë kushte shumë më të mira dhe rrethona shumë më të përshtatshme për gjithë investitorët japonez për të ardhur në Kosovë.
I stressed earlier that we are working on improving conditions, but creating more favorable conditions for Japanese investors to come in Kosovo and invest.
Ne kemi taksat më të ulta në Evropë 10%.
We have the lowest taxes in Europe. They are 10%.
Kemi fuqi punëtore të lirë.
We have
dhe
cheap
të
labor
edukuar.
and educated labor.
Kemi legjislacionin të tërësishëm evropian.
Our entire legislation is harmonized with EU legislation.
Kemi resurse të fuqishme.
We have great resources.
Kemi rinin më të re në Evropë.
We have the youngest people, citizens in Europe.
Ka siguri dhe klim për investime.
The environment is safe and secure for investment.
Ndërsa sa përket turizmit,
Whereas regarding specifically about tourism,
ne jemi shumë afër deti.
our geographical presence is that we are close to seaside.
Dhe di se shumë japonez vizitojnë edhe Kroacinë, edhe Molinezi, edhe Shqipërinë, por le të janë shumë të mirëseardhur në Kosovë.
I am also aware that Japanese tourists visit the neighboring countries, Croatia, Slovenia, but I would invite them to visit
Montenegro, Albania.
Kosovo too, because they already visit the region, Montenegro, Albania.
Kosova është vend shumë atraktiv për turizmin dimror,
Kosovo is very attractive for winter tourism
por për turizmin malor veror.
and also summer mountain tourism.
Tani jemi në procesin e privatizimit të qendrës së skijimit në Brezovic,
We
që
are
do të
in-
investojë mbi 300 milion euro.
We are in the process of privatization of our touristic skiing resort in Brezovica, where we are investing 300 million euros,
Që do të jetë një nga qendrat më atraktive skijimit në rajon.
which will be one of the most attractive skiing resorts in the region.
Pastaj ju gjithë e dini se ne jemi vendi I vendlindjes në Nestërez.
And then, as you may already know, we are the home country or the homeland of the great Mother Teresa.
Thank you.
Please.
My name is Ryusaku Tanaka, freelance journalist. I've been to Kosovo about 10 years.
Oh. Great.
This picture is Bill Clinton printed on
Yes.
big building
Bill
on your
Clinton.
main street.
Yes. Great, thank you.
This
Tash është edhe busti, jo vetëm piktura.
Now, in that main street, it's not only the picture of Bill Clinton, but we have also put the statue of Bill Clinton.
Oh, really? U.S. Bill Clinton is a hero in Kosovo.
Yes.
You know, he made Kosovo Albanian free.
Not just Bill Clinton, even Hillary.
But in this March, I was in Crimea. In this March, last month, I was in Crimea. Putin made, Russian President Putin made ethnic Russian in Crimea free, made free. Kosovo and Crimea, both cases are self-determination people. Both cases are self-determination people. This is my question. Why Western countries, including Japan, why Western countries criticize Russia and Putin? How do you think?
Në asnjë rrethon nuk mund të bëhen krahasimin e mes shtetit Kosovës dhe Krimes.
Under any circumstances can we draw any parallels between or comparisons between the case of Kosovo and Crimea?
Kosova ka identitetin e vet.
Kosovo has its own identity.
Pavarësia e Kosovës është krijuar, është shpallur pas ushtrimit të gjenocidit të Serbisë në Kosovë në vitin 1999 kur larguar 1 milion njerëz nga Kosova.
Kosovo's independence was declared after a war, after a genocide happened where half the population of Kosovo, 1 million people, were expelled out of Kosovo.
Ne e kemi shpallur Kosovën të pavarur dhe kur nuk kemi pasur ndonjë synim për t'ju bashkangjitur një vendi tjetër apo për ndryshuar kufit.
We have our country was declared independent, but we never had any territorial claims or merging with one country.
Kosova është, pavarësia e Kosovës është krijuar në koordinim të ngushtë me bashkësinë ndërkombëtare pas një procesi të gjatë të negociatave në Vjenë të udhëhequr nga emërori I Këshillit Sigurimit OKB zoti Ahtisaari.
Kosovo's independence was declared after a coordination with international community and after lengthy negotiations which were led by Nobel Prize winner President Marti Ahtisaari.
Në këto negociata ka qenë përfshirë edhe Rusia.
And Russia was also involved in these negotiations,
Edhe SBA të Bashkimit Evropian.
including United States and EU.
Pra, Kosova nuk është rezultati I ndonjë lëvizje secesioniste, por rezultat I dialogut dhe koordinimit.
Therefore, Kosovo is not a result of a secessionist movement, but it's a result of a lengthy negotiations that we conducted together with international community.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question. I will ask a question. Yes, sir.
My name is Kazuyoshi Abe, freelance journalist, play Asahi Shimbun, FM station. And I want to share tourism I want to share. And for the Slovakia, do you know Slovakia? Slovakia, many Japanese went to tourism. So how many Japanese people want to go Kosovo? And what is the point of tourism in Kosovo? What point? 2 points.
Thank you. Unë mendoj që në rajonin tonë janë 2 vende atraktive për turizëm, njëra Kroacia për Bregdet dhe Kosova për pjesën malore.
My view is that there are 2 countries that are very interesting to visit in the region. Croatia because of the seaside and Kosovo because of the mountainous geography, but also mountainous tourism and cultural tourism.
Por dallimi është se Kroacia është pak më shtetë, Kosova shumë e lirë.
But one difference is that Croatia is much more expensive and Kosovo is very cheap.
Prandaj ju ftoj gjithëve që të vini.
Therefore, I would use the opportunity to invite Japanese tourists to visit Kosovo.
Jeni shumë të mirëseardhur.
You are all very welcome.
Edhe të mirëpritur, por në të njëjtën kohë do të kënaqeni edhe me ushqimin tradicional.
You are, of course, very welcome, but at the same time, I am very confident that you will enjoy traditional Kosovo food, which is very tasty.
Edhe me njerëzit që ju presin shumë mirë.
And also with the hospitality of Kosovo people.
Por edhe me freskinë e bjeshkut bukura të Kosovës.
But also the freshness that Kosovo mountains offer.
Pastaj Kroacia, Kosovë me makinë janë vetëm 4 orë Dubrovnik Prizren.
And then it should be noted that the distance between Kosovo and Croatian seaside is only 4 hours drive, which is a very close distance.
Ndërsa 45 minuta një orë me aeroplan.
And it's a 45-minute flight.
I would like to ask you a question about your meeting with Mr. Shinzo Abe today. What did you tell Mr. Shinzo Abe, and what Mr. Shinzo Abe told you? Can you talk a little bit about the content of your meeting?
Ishte takim I shkëlqyshëm me kryeministrin Abeson.
My meeting with Prime Minister Abe was an excellent meeting.
Kemi diskutuar për avancimin e bashkëpunimit bilateral me shtetit Kosovës dhe Japonisë.
We have discussed about advancing our bilateral relations between our 2 countries.
Në qoftë në drejtimin politik apo diplomatik.
In the diplomatic and political direction.
Edhe në sektorin ekonomisë.
But also in the economic sector.
Edhe sa përket edukimit.
We have also exchanged views on academic exchange and academic cooperation.
Që të kemi shkëmbim të studentëve.
So we enjoy exchange of students between our 2 countries.
Studentët kosovarë të vinë në Japoni, studentët japonesë të vinë në Kosovë.
So that the Kosovar students can come and study in Japan and Japanese students can come and study in Kosovo.
Kemi diskutuar për mundësinë e arës edhe më të madhe të investitorëve japonezë në Kosovë dhe unë edhe sot përmes jush I ftoj gjithë le të vinë janë të mirëseardhur.
We have also discussed different opportunities for Japanese investors that they come and invest in Kosovo, and I want to use the opportunity of your presence here today to direct my open call to Japanese investors. They are very welcome in Kosovo.
Por, unë ditë më parë kam prezentuar planin për punësim në Kosovë dhe kam ardhur edhe në Japoni që të kërkojmë mbështetje për këtë plan të punësimit për të rinjët kosovar.
Days ago, in my country, I presented economic development plan or the employment plan. So my visit here also serves that presence because I have requested from Prime Minister Abe to support my plan of increasing employment and opening new jobs.
Planin tim për krimin e vendeve të reja të punës në Kosovë, fillimisht e kam diskutuar me presidentin Clinton, nga I cili kemi fituar mbështetje.
My plan, which I publicized in Kosovo of new jobs, I have initially also discussed with President Clinton to support this fund of employment.
Ai plan ka fituar një mbështetje gjerë qytetare.
That plan has won great, large citizen support.
Por një kuptim më të fuqishëm I jep edhe mbështetja e Japonisë.
But it would add greater meaning to that plan if we also obtain the Japanese support.
Prandaj pas takimit me kryeministrin Ebeson, unë kthehem edhe më optimist për implementimin dhe jetësimin e planit tim për krimin e vendeve të reja të punës në Kosovë.
Therefore, after my meeting with Prime Minister Abe, I returned more confident with the support of Prime Minister Abe to this employment fund that we will have implemented in Kosovo.
Sepse ti kesh në krah, edhe presidentin Clinton shëbat, edhe Japonin është një fuqi e madhe.
Because one, Abenomics for Kosovo is of great importance, and with the support that we will receive from United States, from the EU, and many other international partners is of great importance for Kosovo.
Thank you.
Who wants to ask a question? Yes?
Shkrumt, ishte ki shkrumt.
My name is Eiko Takeuchi. I'm a freelance journalist. My question is about the United Nations membership. To join the United Nations, what is the major obstacle to your country? And which brought you to be a member of the United Nations? And is there any special elaboration to join the United Nations? That's all.
Natyrisht se interesi shumë i madh për Kosovën që të jetë pjesë e organizatës e Kombeve të Bashkuara.
We have a huge interest to join United Nations.
Edhe vetë plani president Ahtisaari ka qenë i propozuar nga OKB.
And also the plan proposed by President Ahtisaari was initially suggested by the United Nations.
Sepse Ahtisaari ka qenë i emëruar prej OKB-s për të përgatitur këtë plan.
Because President Ahtisaari was a special envoy of United Nations to negotiate and prepare a plan for Kosovo's independence.
Dhe theksua Rusia ka qenë pjesë e këtij plani deri në fund.
And I want to stress again that Russia was a part of this plan until the end.
Në pjesën finale ka refuzuar.
And then at the final stage it refused.
Që ky plan të kalojë në Këshillin e Sigurimit.
That this plan passes to the United Nations Security Council.
Prandaj edhe sot Kosova vazhdon të mbetet peng e vetës ruse për të qenë pjesë e OKB-s.
And because of this, Kosovo is still a hostage of Russia's veto to the United Nations Security Council in order to become a member of the United Nations.
Por ne duam që të ndërtojmë raporte edhe me Rusinë.
We want to build relations even with Russia.
Pavarësia e Kosovës nuk është e drejtuar kundër askujt.
Kosovo's independence is not targeted towards anyone.
Në veçanti, tash pas arritjes së marrëveshjes me paqen mes Kosovës dhe Serbisë, Rusia nuk i ka asnjë arsye që të vazhdojë me veton e vet.
Especially now that we have reached a peace agreement between Kosovo and Serbia, Russia's excuses are gone for recognizing Kosovo.
Përgjigjja ishte shumë e thjeshtë, Rusia është pengesë.
So, to simplify my answer, the obstacle that we face for joining United Nations is Russia.
It's very simple.
Will Mr. Abe, the Japanese government, send an economic mission to Kosovo to try to encourage Japanese investors to go there?
Tani është formuar grupi parlamentar I parlamentit japonez që do merret me Kosovën, edhe ne jemi duke formuar grupi parlamentar që do merret me Japoninë për me pas raporte sa më të afërta.
Japanese House of Representatives have created their league or commission to support and specifically about Kosovo and promote Japanese investments in Kosovo, and we will do the same. We will create a commission in our parliament, so the cooperation between these two commissions of respective parliaments in each country will promote that.
Dhe kryeministri Abe ka shprehur interesimin që kjo punë të vazhdojë.
And Prime Minister Abe has expressed his interest that this work continues.
Dhe kam besim plot se do të ketë hapa konkret.
And I am confident that there will be more concrete steps to follow.
Unë sot kisha kënaqësinë të takoj edhe Sadako Agatën.
I had the pleasure to meet today also Madam Sagata Ogato,
që gjithashtu është shumë respektuar dhe adhuruar në Kosovë.
Which is highly respected and admired in Kosovo.
Prandaj marrëdhëniet Kosovë Japoni po hynin në fazë 3.
Therefore, the relations between Kosovo and Japan are entering a new era
Në gjitha sferat.
in all spheres.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will take maybe one last question, Madam.
Ndërsa shumë do të pas pak minuta për se të takoj edhe rreth 50 biznesmen shumë të fuqishëm.
And just to add regarding your question, after this I'm going to meet with around 50 very powerful businesses in Tokyo.
Që do të diskutojmë së bashku edhe me ministrin tim të financave, tregtisë dhe industrisë dhe udhëve ekonomike, mundësitë e ardhjes së tyre në Kosovë.
And jointly with my Minister of Finance and Minister of Trade and Industry, we will together discuss the possibilities of them coming to invest in Kosovo.
Chargé d'Affaires of Syrian Arab Republic, you have spoken about the peace agreement. In Syria, we have actually facing a very critical situation. It has international dimensions, and we have already involved on the discussion on Geneva. I would say that it is very important for the international community to support such peace talk in order to have a peaceful solution for our case. I would ask you if you can give us some recommendation, especially you have maybe different situation, but you have reached a peaceful agreement, which is very important to settle such conflict, especially not only for the country itself, but for the whole region. Thank you.
Thank you. Unë gjithë jetën time kam kaluar në përpjekje për liri të qytetarëve të mi.
Almost all my life has been spent in attempts for freedom of my citizens.
E kam udhëhequr edhe rezistencën.
I have also led the resistance of my country.
Por ajo çka ne gjithmonë kemi kushtuar rëndësi ka qenë uniteti qytetar.
But what we have always placed an emphasis, a strong emphasis, was the citizen unity.
Qoftë në bazë uniteti, qoftë në bazë etnike apo në bazë fetare apo politike.
Unity based on ethnic and religious or interreligious and also citizenry.
Ne kemi qenë me bindje ndryshme politike, por gjithë kemi qenë të bashkuar për liri.
We, of course, had different political views on the Kosovo situation, but we were all united for one cause, for freedom of Kosovo.
Për liri, për demokraci, për rend dhe ligj.
For freedom of Kosovo, for democracy, and for rule of law.
Në anën tjetër, ky unitet i yni ka bërë që gjithë politika Kosovë, ky unitet qytetar ka bërë që gjithë politika kosovare të jetë unike.
And this civil unity that we enjoyed also made us that we enjoy also international unity, international community unity.
Pastaj kemi fituar edhe mbështetjen e plotë të SBA-ve dhe Bashkimit Evropian dhe të NATO-s.
So, in this case, we have also enjoyed great support of United States, of EU, and NATO.
Pra ne kemi luftuar për lirinë e vendit tonë dhe jo për pushtet.
Therefore, it should be stressed that we fought for the freedom of our country, not for power.
Kur kemi fituar lirinë, kemi krijuar partitë politike.
And then once we won the freedom of our country, it's only then that we created political parties.
Tash jemi në rrugë sigurt evropiane.
And now we are stable in our secure path towards EU.
Por nuk mund të bëhen krahasime mes Kosovës dhe Sirisë.
But we cannot draw comparisons between Kosovo and Syria's case.
Kosovo është në Evropë.
Because Kosovo is in Europe.
Dhe janë rrethona dhe faktorë specifik.
And then there are different environment and different factors which differ from Syria's case.
Por vullneti qytetarët duhet respektohet gjithmonë.
But my belief is that the citizens' will should be, and people's will should be respected always.
Edhe duhet arrihet paqja.
And that peace should prevail.
Paqja nuk arrihet duke u hakmarr.
And peace cannot be achieved
Paqja nuk arrihet marrë në dorë.
through revenge with weapons at hand.
Paqja nuk arrihet pa lëshu armët.
Peace cannot be obtained without leaving the weapons.
Paqja arrihet me vullnet mirë,
The peace can be reached with goodwill,
me tolerancë,
with tolerance,
me durim
with patience,
dhe mirë kuptim duke kuptuar njëri tjetrin.
and mutual understanding, understanding each other.
Kosova dhe Serbia një shekull kanë pasur armiqësi dhe luftra.
Kosovo and Serbia had a century of wars and conflicts.
Pas një shekulli vitin e kaluar kemi arrit marrëveshjen e paqes.
And after this long century of conflicts and wars, last year we reached the peace agreement.
Ajo marrëveshje s'ka qenë edhe aq popullore as në Kosovë as në Serbi, në kuptimin elektoral apo populist.
I should stress that the agreement that we reached wasn't very popular in our country, neither in Serbia,
Por ka qenë
among our
domosdoshme.
citizens. But it was a necessary agreement,
Dhe ne kemi arrit.
and we reached that
Kemi
agreement.
marrë vendimin më drejt, të mundshëm për vendet tona dhe qytetarët tanë.
We took the most righteous decision about our country and about our people.
Jo theksoj, ndoshta më leto me fillu luftra, po më vështirë është të përmbyllen luftrat, të arrihet paqja.
Maybe it's easier to start a war, but it's very, very difficult to end one and to achieve peace.
Prandaj duhet vullnet i madh.
Therefore, you need great will.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thaci. We will end this press conference. I want to thank you to have come to the club
Thank you.
and to offer you a one-year honorary membership card. So please
thank
come
you.
back to Tokyo and to the club.
Thank you.
I want to thank Mr. Shala, the ambassador, and Ms. Oksa, the interpreter. Thank you very much.
Thank you.